We recently received the Paratech tripod kit on our rescue company, and I wanted to do a little exercise to get acquainted with it. The first order of business for any lift is to estimate the weight you're going to lift, and almost as important is finding its center of gravity and marking where that center of gravity is. The method that we chose was to weigh both the front lift point and the back lift point to find the total weight and to know where that weight distribution was at. We knew we were going to lift from the axles, and we used a dynamometer to weigh both the front and rear of the vehicle. As you can tell, the front was 2,500 pounds and the rear was 1,500 pounds for a total weight of 4,000 pounds. So referring back to our CG calculation, we did the math where we took the weight on the right, divided by the total weight times the span, which was 8 foot, and we figured out that CG was about 3 foot back from the front wheel, which is right about where the A post meets the roof of the vehicle. Now that we know the weight and where CG is, we can design a load supporting system to be able to lift that and develop all the rigging. The first thing we'll look at is the tripod, as that was one of our primary objectives here, was to learn about our new tripod. As we read into the instruction manual, it says it had a maximum height of 11 feet, but it really gave no reason why. So we made a quick call to Paratech, and we learned that the reason that 11 foot is the maximum height is that the chain that's about 30 foot that they supply with it, if it's any higher than 11 foot, the legs will be too wide for that 30-foot chain to hobble the feet. And that's as tall as you are allowed to go with the gray struts. I confirmed with them that as long as you take into account all your load calculations and your load multipliers based on the 20-degree angle away from center that your struts are going to be, then you can go above 11 foot as long as you take all those calculations into account. So in order to take our load calculations into account, if you have a 16-foot Paratech leg or a Paratech gold strut, it has a 3,000 pound working load limit. There are 3 legs in the tripod, so that's a total of 9,000 pounds of support. But you're also supporting that at an 80-degree angle from the ground or 20 degrees from center, which at that angle you've got a load multiplier of 1.02. So if you take that 9,000 pounds and you divide that by 1.02, you have a working load limit of about 8,800 pounds. So your lifting ring at the top of the tripod is only good for 5,200 pounds. So that's going to be your limiting working load limit if you're only using the standard tripod connections. Something that we discussed that our B-Shift brothers came up with was to put a multi-base tip on top of the tripod, and then to take a grade 100 3/8-inch chain and make a loop over the top of that. So you would have a connection point anchor within the tripod that's good for 17,600 pounds. But if you're going to do that, you need to make darn sure that your calculations are accurate. Knowing that we only needed to lift 4,000 pounds, we chose to use the eye bolt at the top of the tripod, which is working load limit of 5,200 pounds. And we chose to lift that with a grip hoist. The TU32 grip hoist that we carry on a rescue truck is good for 8,000 pounds when handling materials. We hooked the hook of the grip hoist at the top and the body of the grip hoist draped down at the bottom so that it was down at ground level where we could operate the grip hoist. Now we needed to rig the Bronco up. The optimal stability comes from 4 points being collected up at a focal point. So that's what we chose to do. We put chains on each of the axles and then brought them up to Crosby eliminators. Part of this project was to get 2 Crosby eliminators on our rig so that we could more efficiently integrate chains into our lifting mechanisms. Those 2 Crosby eliminators were then connected into a 15-ton shackle. That 15-ton shackle was hooked into a loop of grade 100 chain that is connected to the pin of the grip hoist. All that's left is to do the lift.